Here's my conversation with Uncle Ebo Whyte. Enjoy it as a review of his 2018.
I had a death sentence on my life, and I decided that if I survived it, I would do something I've never done before.
JB, you know what time it is?
Even if I was going to die before my next birthday, at least I knew when I'm going to die. But somebody is going to have a car accident today who is not planning for this. So then it gave me an opportunity to live each day as if it was my last.
Uncle Ebo, thank you for allowing us into your space.
Oh, it's such an honor to host you at our rehearsal grounds.
Okay, so this is your regular rehearsal ground?
This is our rehearsal grounds now. It has been for the last 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, it's good to be here. It's as if I'm in one of the plays already.
You know, the interesting thing is that it used to be a cinema house. When I was in secondary school, I used to watch films here.
Oh, okay.
And then it became, when All Night Live died, this is one of the places that's of it.
Okay, so you're back home?
I am back home.
Okay.
I am very much back home.
I want us to do a review of 2018. It's been, this is your 10th anniversary.
It is our 10th anniversary.
And 2018 is also the year that you went on that crazy ride.
Yes, yes.
So it's been a packed year. How has 2018 been for you?
I think it's been good. God has been good to me, especially with the crazy ride. The story behind the crazy ride is even more interesting than the crazy ride itself. I had a death sentence on my life, and I decided that if I survived it, I would do something I've never done before. So that was the crazy ride.
You had a death sentence?
Yes. I know that we become so sophisticated we don't believe in some really spiritual things, but a man of God said in church that I will not live to see my next birthday. He said this in December of last year. My birthday is in July. Now that is not the strangest thing. The strange thing is how often people walked, who didn't know what had happened in this church, walked to my wife and said, "We dreamt that your husband was dead." Not less than 4 people came up. And then about a week to my birthday, a lady who works with my wife dreams that night that I was dead. So she gets up. She's sitting at the edge of her bed wondering, what do I do with this? Then her daughter runs in a panic and said, "Mommy, you will not believe the dream I just had. I dreamt that Grandpa was dead." You know, so when all that kept coming, I resolved that if my life is spared and I lived to see my next birthday, I will do something I have never done before. And that is crazy, right?
But what were you going through? Because I know when you receive a prophecy like that, especially when independent individuals, well, not pastors, have also had a similar dream. What were you going through?
I thought it was an opportunity for me to test whether all that I have believed in was true or not. All that I have believed in as God being my shepherd was true. Whether that thing about, yea though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil, for thou art with me. Whether that is true. Whether it is true that I am in the hands of God and He watches over me. I thought that this is an opportunity to see it.
Were you afraid at any point in time? You must have been scared.
I have never been afraid of death, because I think I have lived a good life. I was not blessed with much. In my family, I was voted as the least likely to succeed in my family. And yet, as at now, I'm the most high profile in the family. Okay, so in that result, in that sphere, I've come very far. I also knew, I had to remind myself that for anybody who knows God, death is gain, because death will not be the end of it, and death is gain. So if I should go, I have gained. But I didn't want an enemy, quote unquote, to be able to boast and say, we took him out. That was a challenge for me. I am ready to go anytime, but let not an enemy, whatever the enemy is, stand somewhere and say that we took him out.
Did you know who wanted to
take
you out?
I was so interested. I was so interested. You know, because once you know who protects you, it doesn't matter who fights against you.
So let me ask, what did you do to survive it?
One, remind myself of some of these truths that I'm talking about, every promise of Scripture, and then pray more, asking God from the Psalms, contend with those who contend against me, fight against those who fight against me. I have to accept, go on that again and again and again and again. And then just take it one day at a time. Just realize that, you know, even if I was going to die before my next birthday, at least I knew when I'm going to die. But somebody is going to have a car accident today who is not planning for this. So then it gave me an opportunity to live each day as if it was my last. When I was going to bed, there was no guarantee I'll wake up the next morning.
So what was your last prayer? I mean, what was the last thing that you said before you closed your eyes each night, knowing that you were, that was the period when it had...
Thank you for the gift of life. Thank you for the gift of life. I decided I will not be afraid of dying. I was more afraid of not living. You know, a lot of people are alive, but they are not living. And they think that death is the most horrible thing. No. You could live for a long time and there's nothing associated with your name. There's no impact you've made. You've not lived, you've not had any fulfillment. That is not living. So I was not afraid of dying because I would move on. I was afraid of living my life and looking back and realizing, oh my goodness, you know, my life has been wasted. I was more afraid of that. And so it intensified every day for me. And that is why I've been able to accomplish much more within this year than I had done, because the sense of urgency was there, and it's not going to go away. And because of that, some of the things I have been postponing, like radio theater, I'll be able to roll radio theater within the first quarter of 2018.
For real?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and it will be on your platform. So.
Nice. We'll be looking out for
yes,
that.
So
is there a name already?
I am rolling out 3, so I'm not too sure which of them we'll start with.
Okay.
But Mr. President is one. Then Ghana, where I pick some of the things we do in Ghana that makes Ghana cry.
Okay.
You know, and then dramatize all of them. And
okay.
I have about, and then there's what I call the bringing Bible today. So for instance, talk about the Christmas story, because we are in the Christmas season. Real time, how did Mary feel? How did Joseph feel going through it? Can you imagine if Mary had friends and she told them that, they'll see her pregnant. Hey, Mary, we didn't know you and Joseph, you've been doing the thing. No, Joseph hasn't touched you. Hey, so you did it with somebody? No. An angel came and said, they'll go. Mary, okay, so smart.
That's exactly what would I say.
Yeah. And then they will go and say, Joseph, they will forgive. He's such a fool to believe. It's like, how would it be? So those are the things we're going to dramatize. And all that comes from the intensity of being compelled to realize that every day is a gift.
Yeah.
So today, what am I doing today? And so, for instance, today, before I sat down with you, I've accomplished much more today than somebody will for a week. Because the intensity is there. Even though I have survived my birthday, I didn't want to lose the lessons that period of a cloud had hanging over my life and brought it to me. But it's been fun.
Well, we thank God for your life. We need you alive. We need you to be with us. Please don't go.
The only interesting thing is that my birthday is on the 20th of July. On the 19th of July, I refused to sleep.
Was it because you were afraid?
I wasn't afraid. I decided that if they succeed, let me see death come.
How?
I'm not going to. I didn't want a situation where people would say that, oh, he went to sleep and he would die in his sleep. So I stayed up till a minute after midnight.
Wow.
Then I said, if I die now, it will not be consistent with what they said before my birthday, because I've seen my birthday. And then I spent about an hour thanking God for sparing my life.
What did your wife say? How did she receive it?
She believes both of us know how to pray. She's in Aglo, one of the people who meet at the Independence Square every month to pray. So in our house, we are not strangers to prayer. So that is our response to some of the things we can't control. And that's what we did.
Did she stay awake with you 19th?
No, she didn't even know what I was doing. she was fast asleep. But there were scary times. There were, for instance, I had a little medical challenge, and my doctor, in his bid to treat it, got a bit too aggressive. So gave me the kind of medication that flushed my system of all the, even the good bacteria. And so I ran for 4 days non-stop.
Wow.
Yeah.
This was all before your birthday?
All before my birthday. 4 days non-stop. At this height, I could be going as often as 15 times. Yeah. It got so bad, if I was to drive from here to the next point, I have to map out where are the washroom facilities along the route. Otherwise, I won't go. Unless I can spot, okay, I can access this one within 10 minutes. From there, I can access this one. I can access this one. I will not take off because
I don't remember, publicly I didn't see anything.
No, nobody knew.
I remember the birthday, the flyers.
Yes.
I remember the celebrations.
Yes.
We're looking forward to it.
There's a reason why I celebrate. Normally, I don't celebrate my birthday, but this birthday, I announced it and we celebrated it for the first time in my life.
Well, thank you for telling us the backstory.
So nobody knew. My staff didn't know. They didn't know what I was going through. In the house, apart from my wife and those who had heard it, we didn't know. Life went on. I tried to give a semblance of normality as much as possible. All they saw was an increased intensity, and they didn't know where it was coming from. A certain sense of urgency, but they had no idea where it was coming from. And then the other thing I did was to let everybody I cared for know that I cared for them. So things I hadn't said to people, I said it to them because I realized that I may not have the opportunity to say this. So if you didn't know, you mean a lot to me. You make my life easy. I think about you with joy often. I always look forward to seeing you because of the way you appear. You bring brightness into my day. So I said these to all the people.
So it was like a wake-up call. Do we all need that?
I think it has been very useful to me because what it did is that it made everybody around me comfortable and relaxed. They knew what they meant to me.
But they still didn't know why you were telling them.
No, they didn't know. They got to know that on the 20th of July. That's when, for the first time, I gathered them and told them.
Wow.
That was the first time they got to know what was happening.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Let's talk about national issues.
Okay.
There are so many things that have, 2018 brought to us a few things. The cathedral became a national conversation. It still is.
It is. Because we haven't done it.
Yeah, there was the Electoral Commission issue as well. Charlotte Say was out. We had a new commissioner in. But I wonder national things, are they of concern to you?
Oh, they are, of course. You can't be in a nation and not be concerned about things that happen, especially with the kind of field I work in. People don't come to the theater unless they feel good about the system. Whenever people feel that things are uncertain, they stay away. Because my field is not a necessity for anybody. Nobody needs to come to the theater. They come to the theater because they have attended to everything else and they want to just go, okay, let's go out and relax. But when you're thinking of, would I still have a job next week? You're not going to go to the theater. Armed robbery, they just came to my neighbor. Are they going to come to me next? Why am I going to move out? So national issues matter to me, but they've been very interesting things. What stands out is number 12.
Yes.
You remember number 12?
Absolutely.
I think
it brought football to a standstill in Ghana.
And I think it was a wake-up call to everybody that serve well. Then it doesn't matter whether somebody's trapping you or not. It will be relevant. You know, serve well. I know one of the judges who threw them out, who was on camera and rejected them. And he didn't even know. He had no idea. But that is him. You know, you don't bring things like that his way as a person. It's not as if he has seen a camera, so okay, let me shape up. And I think if we all, I know the controversies that have gone on, but the essential thing is there are people who, when they think it's safe, will sell the nation out, will sell the organization that they had out. And we need to work out, look at that one. So number 12 is a big one for me. I also think there's something going on in Ghana that we haven't paid much attention to, and for a good reason. The reason being that it is very easy to make it a partisan issue. But for somebody who is not partisan, I don't belong to any of them, and I have friends in all of them. Incidentally, every former president is my friend. I look at it from the national point of view, and it's a beautiful thing to see. It's beautiful to see the sitting president cultivating friendships and cordial relationship with his predecessors. You know, with JJ, my man.
Mrs. Rawlins.
With Kufuor. I'm not too sure what's happening between he and John, you know, but even then, when he hosted all of them in the Jubilee House, John was part of it. And then recently, on the occasion of the 80th birthday of President Kufuor, he hosted a dinner for him. And at the dinner, President Kufuor revealed that the president had taken time out of his busy schedule to actually go to the house to wish him. Now, it may not look significant, but it is good for the stability of the nation, for the peace of the nation, for us to see the big people, the people who have a voice, realizing that, oh, they are all for Ghana. So there's something happening in the country which we don't talk about because it is too easy for it to become a partisan issue. And it is, but it is good for the nation, and it is a relationship between the sitting president and his predecessors. You know, it calms nerves in the country. It helps with stability. And once there's stability in the country, the creative energies of people are unleashed. Because you know that whatever it is you are building, there wouldn't be an upheaval that will come and sweep everything away. If you are making an investment, you know this investment, I will live to recoup it and to make it grow. And so I applaud all of those politicians and statesmen who have become statesmen now. I only hope that sometimes they will let their followers know that we are past. So when you are screaming, think about that. You're actually shouting about my friend.
This is even more crucial because 2019 means we are even more closer to 2020.
We are getting close to, Lord, yeah, we are.
The election year.
Yeah.
There's also the cathedral. I'm not sure I heard your thoughts on that. Do we need a cathedral?
I'm only excited by the guy who has a contract to build a cathedral, David Ajay.
Yes.
Actually, he's Sir David Ajay.
Yes.
And I've taken, so when I heard that he's been given that contract, I went and researched about some of the things he has done in the US, in Britain. And he's been voted as one of the most influential people of his generation. The only architect to have made it on Forbes 100 most influential people in the world. So that is, his pedigree is huge. Do we need a national cathedral? I would wish they would have given us another theater. I wish it was a multi-purpose thing.
You could use the cathedral, you know.
They won't give it to us. Once they put the name cathedral on it, they won't give it to you. But if it was a multi-purpose thing where we could also use it for national prayers, I think, and for other things when it is not being used for national prayers, that'll be fine. But so that is what I think about it.
There was also the banking crisis.
Oh, it affected a lot of my friends. I lost sleep for a number of days because, Mavi, whenever a Ghanaian business collapses, I weep. Because it means that's our economy going. Our economy has been in the hands of foreigners and continue to be in the hands of foreigners. Major sections of our economy are in the hands of foreigners. They may have Ghanaians working for them, but the profit and everything goes out of the country. So when the lives of UT, I know that UT and Capital were way ahead of the others go down. Yes, then I cry, and then came the some of the others that followed.
The Unibank, the Beige.
Yes, and it's painful to see. The question is, how were some of them permitted to be banks in the first place? So it's not just a question about the banks did not work. Somebody maybe should have saved us all this if that person had done his work well. How do you give liquidity support to a bank and not follow up to find out what it did with it and stop it from happening? Why did we wait to this level? And it's unfortunate that some of those who are most culpable of this failure are working free. Some of them still have their jobs. Innocent people who relied on the fact that they would do their work are now paying a very serious price for it. And it's unfortunate that when Ghanaian entrepreneurship suffers and takes a blow like that, I cry.
Let's talk about the individual, because we talk about looking back national, but as an individual, you also have to take stock of your life.
Yes, you need to.
Where do you begin from? Do you start from January?
First, begin with what you thought your life was all about. Begin with that. Begin and see when you were growing up, what were the things that you were passionate about? What were the things you said that when I grow up, I'll be like this? If you are still not saying that now, have you been exposed to better options for your life, or have you given up? It is possible that when you were growing up, you said, I would like to be this. Then with time, with maturity, you realize, oh, no, that's not what I want to do. I want to do this. That's a different thing. As against I want to be this, and then because difficulties come your way, you decide, you know what, why bother? Then that is a challenge. So begin with what it is that you wanted your life to be about, and where are you now in relation to that thing you wanted your life to be about? Has there been any good cause for you to review that? If not, are you still on track? What you are doing today, all that you've done this year, did you pay attention to that thing becoming a reality for you? That life that you talked about becoming a reality for you? If not, what stopped you? So if you could do all that, and I recommend that don't do this mentally, put it on paper. You know, so that is what makes the difference. Put it on paper, put these things on paper. At the beginning of the year, what were the things you hoped to achieve? Have you achieved them? If not, what stopped you? Because until you discover what it is that stopped you, the chances are that 2019 you'll make that same goal, and at the end of it you'll have the same frustration. So, and make what stopped you into two categories: what you had no control over, what you had control over.
Okay.
So for instance, if you were thinking of becoming a banker and you were working with one of the banks that collapsed, the collapse of your bank was beyond your control. So that's a different thing. But if you needed to take the exams of the Institute of Bankers and you didn't do that, that was in your control. Why didn't you do that? You know, so you have to do that. Then you have to ask yourself, where did all my time go? Which areas have I been spending my time? And that is where I wish that a lot more exposure, a lot more attention will be given, because we've all become addicted to social media without being aware. You know, the number of people who sleep and when they wake up, the first thing they do is to stretch
my phone
and pick their gadget to check before they sit up. You know, it's like as soon as they wake up, even when they wake up in the middle of the night to pee, the first thing they do is this, and then this. Before they get up to go pee. And then when they leave it and come back, they check again. Has something come up? Then they put it down. And then they wake up, and the first thing is this. I rejoiced when I met a couple who said something to me that I wish would become the lifestyle for people. They said, in our bedroom, no gadget comes in.
Okay.
We all leave all the gadgets in the hall. When you're coming into the bedroom, you come without a gadget. So that it is me and my wife in the bedroom. So we can relate, we can look at each other and talk. We can know I have her attention, she knows she has my attention. There's nothing like, who called you? So what are you doing on the phone? And I thought it is such a healthy thing. It is such a healthy thing that for the coming year and the coming days, if we would all apply, because unless you are in the security service, unless you are the coordinator of national security, really, what excuse do you have? What excuse do you have for even not putting off your phone before you sleep? And the gadgets have become so sophisticated that when you haven't put it on, people think you are online. So they continue chatting with you. And then you are compelled now to that. And then,
well, the excuse is that somebody might need you. There could be some emergency somewhere.
Okay, all right. It's one of the, so somebody told me when they discovered I don't use mobile phone, you must use mobile phone. I said, why? So maybe there may be an emergency, somebody wants to reach us. So fine, I agree. In those days, my mother was in Kumasi. I said, so let's say that I am called at 1 a.m. and informed that my mother had just collapsed. What do I do? There's nothing I can do about it. But you know what? I'll be stressed out for that whole thing. Whatever I need to do will be in the morning. By the morning, I am not in any shape to handle anybody's emergency because of the stress. But let me have a good night's sleep. And then in the morning, let the call come and say, oh, last night, Oledi collapsed. Now I am in a much better position to think straight and to say, did you call the doctor? Did you this? What do you need? Do we need money? I am on my way. I am coming there. So a lot of the things we say, oh, maybe somebody will need it. Okay. Maybe a neighbor will be attacked by armed robbers. Mommy, what are you going to do? Is your body bulletproof? Would you go there? The most you will do is to call the police, which they can also do. Do you understand me? Why are they calling you? They should call the police. You know, at any rate, if it's armed robbers, you don't need your phone to be on, because the first thing they will do when they break into it will be to seize your phones. You know, so it is a very false sense of security that, oh, somebody will reach. At any rate, if I go to bed at 11 and anybody for whom I care is not asleep at 11 and it's not on night duty, then what are they doing up at 11? Oh, then in that case, if they don't want to sleep, let me sleep.
So you don't use a phone?
I use a phone, but not a mobile phone.
You don't use a mobile phone?
No, I don't own a mobile phone.
You don't own a mobile phone?
I use one, so I can borrow yours and use. So that's me.
I'm familiar with that.
Okay.
My CEO doesn't use a mobile phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I use it, just that I don't own one.
Okay. So if you want to reach Uncle Ebo, just send him an email.
Yes. Email I would answer.
Yeah.
So that's that. So once you do look at where your time is going. Where are the leakages? Because time is a raw material. And if you allow little other things to take your time away, that is your life going. And there are people today who look back on 2018 and say, where did all the days go?
Yeah.
Then there are others who are also going to look at 2013 and say, my, what a year. What's the difference? One paid particular attention to the days, to the time. Another decided, well, I have time. I'll do it next week. I'll do it when I come on leave. You know, and it doesn't work. I learned very quickly that if you have anything to do, give it to a busy person. Busy people deliver. Those who have a lot of time on their hands, they don't deliver anything. And you're a lady, so I'll give you an example that will resonate with you. You wake up one day and you decide, you know, this room needs to be changed. I need to clean up this room. Then you postpone that and say, okay, next week is a holiday. So I will have the time.
Oh.
Okay. So you wake up in the morning, even before breakfast, you jump into it. You realize at 6 p.m. you haven't gotten anywhere. You had the whole day. But then you wake up and say, no, I can't take the shape of this room anymore. I have to clean up. But I have a wedding at 10. By 9, you are done. What's the difference? By 9.
Because with that, you're in a hurry. You know that you don't have time.
So there's a bit of urgency. And that's how to live your life. When people say, oh, I'll do this when I come on leave. Like, time, no.
Yeah.
It is when you don't have time that you deliver a lot. When you have a lot of time, it goes and you wonder, where did the days go? You know? Those of us, those who go on leave and decide, okay, when I go on leave, I will read all the books I haven't read.
No way.
You will read one. And yet, you're working, you are caught in traffic, or somebody is driving you and you are reading.
Yeah.
Before you realize, I've finished one chapter. You know, I go to see somebody, the person said, wait. Fortunately, I have the book in my bag. I pick it. I'm reading. I have read two paragraphs before the person comes. But I've gotten to the point where it's so as soon as the meeting ends, I am sinking myself into it even a little bit more. Before you realize, you look back and, whoa. So I want people to understand that it is when you're under pressure, when time is of the essence for you, that is when you are most creative. That's when you are most productive. And I encourage you, don't use, oh, next week, oh, the holidays. We'll have 1 week. You know, when we break on 24th, we are not coming back out till the 7th.
You're
within that time, or within that time, I will do this, I will do that, I will do that. No, do it now.
Okay, thank you.
Otherwise, 8th of January will come and say, oh, I'm so depressed. You know what? I said I was going to do this, I was going to do this.
Yeah.
And then in Ghana, since we have Beifo, they didn't allow me to do anything. No, it's just recognizing that.
If you I'm tempted to use prophecy, but there are a lot of people who are looking forward to things happening to them in 2018.
Yes.
Marriage,
yes.
Changing jobs, getting promotions.
Yeah.
That probably didn't happen.
Yes.
How do you pick yourself up from there and make new resolutions for yourself in 2019?
Celebrate what you have, not what you don't have. Too many of us are living with what we don't have. Celebrate what you have. So 2018 has come. I said I was going to get married. I didn't get married. I said I was going to graduate with my master's. I have finished, but I did not quite graduate. But what else did I accomplish this year? What else came my way? Celebrate that. And in the celebration of that, you'll get new strength to tackle the things that are still outstanding. Otherwise, what will happen is that your inner monologue is going to be, what is wrong with me? You know? I never get anything done. I never get anything done. What you are doing is that you are discouraging yourself. So in your mind, I am a non-productive person. Instead of, wow, you know what? I got a chance to travel to the northern region, which I had always hoped to do. And I had a good time there. Next year, I am going to go to the east and western region. So the excitement comes recognizing what you've accomplished, not what you haven't accomplished. So the marriage did not come. What about your network? Did you build a better network? Did you strengthen some of your relationships with those you already have? What about with the family? Did that see better? Your colleagues, did you win their respect and honor? Celebrate those ones. Marriage will come when it will come, because anybody who forces to get married either does not get married or gets poorly married. Marriage is one of those things you don't force. It will come when it will come. And the good marriages come when it meets you on the run. If you are just sitting home and always dreaming, so whatever, you are likely to get a loser coming your way. But you are so busy that the guy comes and says, Mama, can I have dinner with you? I said, dinner? Well, this week is all taken. Okay, what about next week? Oh no, let me see it. Okay, the only time I can have dinner with you will be the day on the 24th December. And he's going, wow. He immediately goes, my goodness, the girl is not cheap. As against, can I have a dinner with you when? What about this evening? Oh, okay. Then, no, the girl has nothing doing. I'm doing even her a favor. Instead of, this evening, oh, no. I don't live my life like that. I plan a week ahead. So let's look at next week.
Do guys get that?
Do we get that? Yes, we do. We respect that.
Okay.
We respect that. Let me rephrase. The worthwhile boys respect that.
Okay.
The worthless boys go again or two no. But that is a boy you are worth. You are better off losing.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't worth your attention.
I know that you're crowning 2018 with a festival.
With a festival of
six plays. So let me ask: is the Crazy Ride featuring again? 1st
of January.
You are?
Yes.
Wow.
2 shows that day, 1st of January.
Why do you want to do it again?
My people, they will not want me to take it off. And also, the feedback we had, since we did it, the attendance for Crazy Ride was very bad. Maybe it was bad because people decided that a 64-year-old man cannot perform for 2 hours. They decided that. My staff were heartbroken when we met one of our regular patrons. He runs a company, and he buys a total of 16 tickets for his 8 staff, so 2 per head for them, and get them. So it's been their regular quarterly getaway. He said when the Crazy Ride was coming and he was going to send for the tickets, they told him, boss, don't waste the money.
Why not?
Uncle Ebo Whyte is over there, one man show. I mean, it will be a total waste. We can't see what's the point. He can't do it.
I think, well, honestly, I didn't believe that you were going to do it. I thought it was, you were just saying it. Yeah, it was.
There were people who did not believe I could do it. Somebody actually came to me and said, Uncle Ebo Whyte, are you aware it is 2 hours? And I said, yes, I preach for 2 hours. You know, and when I'm rehearsing them, working with them on any play, for the period that I'm blocking the play, I don't sit down. And I could go for 4 hours without sitting down. I said, but you see me doing that. And they hadn't linked that one with it. But when we did, those who came, it's interesting. The number of people who walked from the theater and went straight to my wife and say, thank you for allowing him to do it. And the number of mails I have received saying what a life-changing experience it was for them. Even for my own group members who said, if Uncle Ebo Whyte can do this, what excuse do I have for not challenging myself to do anything? It was an incredible experience. It was a life-changing experience for many people.
So you're doing it again?
So I'm doing it again.
Are you changing anything? I haven't watched it though.
Okay.
But I'm not missing any of the 6 days. I'm not missing. But I've listened to you, I've listened to the reviews, and I think I have a fair idea what it is. Yeah. But are you changing anything? Are you
I'll
adding
change
anything
a few things, yes.
Okay.
But the major aspects will continue to stay the way. Just that I have learned to dance better, so the dancing will be much better than
Okay, so I haven't missed much because I'll see a better dancing Uncle Ebo.
You'll see a much better dancing.
Okay.
Yes, because
do you sing as well?
I sing 3 songs.
You're singing better this time?
I'm singing better this time.
Okay.
I've had more time.
Okay.
So I do going back to my roots.
Okay.
By Lucky Dube, one of my favorites, and then 2 other songs. So I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. So the date, please give us the dates for the festival.
So we'll begin from the 25th with Unhappy Wives, Confused Husbands, which was the play we started with 10 years ago. And then from 27th to 30th, a play every day.
Okay.
We skipped 31st because you can't fight watch night service. On that day, every Ghanaian is a Christian. Every Ghanaian is religious. And then we crown it with the first. Praise it right on the first.
So we won't see plays from 2018 only?
No.
Because now that you're bringing...
Yeah, because Terms of Divorce is also... I think Terms of Divorce is 2010 or so.
Okay.
And then 2008, 2010, and then the current ones that we've done this year.
Okay. Just before we wrap up, I wrote a few things about 2018 I thought I would ask you.
Okay.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how satisfied are you with how you have spent this year?
7.
And if you were to grade yourself an A, A plus, A minus, B, C, D, F, what would you give yourself?
B.
You give yourself a B?
B.
Okay.
B because my 3rd novel hasn't come. Again, because of the agency, I've started renewed work on it. And then the radio theater also has to come. The day that the radio theater comes and then the novel is the same, then that year I'll grade it as A.
Your biggest accomplishment this year, 2018?
Easy. I'm still married.
Really? But you've been married for such a long time.
I never take it for granted.
So that's your biggest accomplishment?
Yeah.
Wow.
Too many people. You know, a lot more marriages break in their 30th year. Did you know? There are 2 periods in a marriage that the marriage is at risk. At the beginning, because you are still adjusting to each other. It doesn't matter how long you court. When you marry, you're going to discover each other anew. And a friend of mine said, you're either going to get a surprise or a shock. But one of them. So the first 3 years of a marriage are always tricky. Then it stabilizes along the way until about the 10th year when midlife crisis hits the man. So that is when all the cheating comes. Between the 10th and 15th year, he's dealing with his midlife crisis. All right. Then after that, you get a bit of stability till your 20th, 25th year, when your wife may be dealing with menopause. So it comes with its own challenges. Then all that stabilizes. And from that period on, from your 30th year going, the children are grown, they've left home. The two of you are having to deal with each other much more, not through the children. So if along the line you didn't build good relationship and a solid relationship and keep in touch, because when children come in, couples become parents. They cease to be couple. Every discussion is about the children. And in some cases, they even get to the point of communicating to each other through the children. Go and tell your father this. So you are there, the child comes, mommy says this. You are asleep with mommy on the bed. And she didn't say that. Because she knew if she said it, there may be fire. Now the children go. So wake up in the morning, what am I going to do? What are you going to do? Then, and at that time, there's an interesting thing that happens. The woman gets a second wind of life. Women age better than us. Suddenly, after menopause and everything, she blossoms again. And she is much more sure of her place in society now. If she was involved in church at this time, everybody calls her mama. She has the respect and the network. The children are out of the home. They call mommy, they don't call daddy. They are more likely to call mommy than daddy. So you are there, when they are sending remittance, it goes to mommy, not to daddy. So at that point, if you have ignored each other, you are at your biggest risk. The woman is busy now, she's much more fulfilled now. So the maid servant is now taking care of Massa. She's the one who cooks for him, who lays the table for him. He's spending more time in the house because he's on retirement with the house help. Meanwhile, chemistry is not there. Chemistry is still working. Then you hear all these stories and you go, oh, why? They've been married for 30 years. Yes, they were at their biggest risk era, and they were not aware. So any year, any day I remain married is a good year, and I think it's wonderful.
I had a last question, but now that you've answered me this way, I don't know if I should still ask you. I was going to ask what your biggest accomplishment in 2019 would be.
Radio theater.
Okay.
Crazy Ride Part 2.
Okay. Crazy Ride Part 2?
Part 2.
At 65?
At 65.
I look forward to that.
For shaggy reasons.
Thank you, Clever.
Oh, it's always a wonderful time to be with you. I've said before, and I'll say it again. You are one of my favorite.
Thank you.
Media personalities, because of your persona comes across. You talk with people, you interview people without an agenda. And that is rare in our system now. There are presenters who, when they are interviewing you to project themselves and to massage their ego. You don't do that. And because of that, people walk out of an interview with you feeling that I've been celebrated. I've been given a platform. And I celebrate you. Celebrate you for that.
It means the world to me.
It doesn't hurt that you are beautiful, and it's always sweet to be with you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Okolibo. Merry Christmas.
Well, many happy returns to you and to your team.
And that's my conversation with Uncle Ebo Whyte. And I totally didn't expect that his biggest accomplishment for this year would be staying married. He's been married for 30 years, and thank God for his life. Through all the prophecies, the death, he survived it, and he went on one crazy ride. Listen, if you're looking for places to go, one of the things I know you would never be disappointed with is getting a ticket and going to the National Theatre to see Uncle Ebo Whyte's play is 6 plays, only 300 Ghana cedis, beginning tomorrow. You can watch back-to-back his plays, the special package for this year. We'll have a lot more conversation on that, but that's my conversation with Uncle Ebo Whyte. You can always watch a playback of that if there are things in there. And this is one that you have to listen to again. So just go to our YouTube page in a little bit when it's uploaded, and you can watch and listen again. This is the last conversation with him for this year, 2018.